today I wanted to talk to you about investing time into researching products before you purchase them. I've definitely been caught out on this one a few times, and every time it really irks me. I don't know why, but it really irks me. So my number one bad purchase are these Nike Air shoes. Now see the front of them? It took about 2 weeks for my son to come home and have the front of these, all the stitching just worn away. I did actually read a review before purchasing these that said, don't buy these, the stitching comes undone at the front. My son wore them for a couple of weeks and Nike or the shop wouldn't take them back. I should have listened to that review. Because it was very much in the minority, I dismissed it. And so I guess my point is, don't dismiss every bad review that you get. And here's something that I think everyone should do for the benefit of other people. So thank you to the person who actually put this review up. And I just don't think enough people are putting reviews up. And that's one thing we need to do to boycott having low quality or poor design things created and marketed to us. Because if we let companies know we're dissatisfied and we put a review out for everyone to read, it's going to deter people from buying the product. Thus, they're going to change the product, take the product off the market and make it better for the consumer. So every time I get a bad purchase like these, I always leave a review because I think it helps us in the long term. It's annoying, I know, but it's helping ourselves in the long run. The other thing I did was I actually took these to a shoe repair shop and I said to him, look, I don't want to invest the money because these were about $200. $200. I think there's a reason why I've never bought these shoes before. I bought these shoes for his birthday, thinking that $200 was a decent investment. I did do some research, like I said. Anyway, so I took these to a shoe repair shop and I said to the guy, look, these are $200. I don't want to invest money into fixing these if you think they're just going to come undone. He said, no, I should be able to get you through the end of the term. I think we had about 6 weeks to the end of the term. So he stitched them up at the front and that cost me about $40. And I was really regretting doing it because 2 weeks later, the same thing happened, which tells me that it's just a design fault in the shoe. My son likes to play a lot of sport, which is amazing, and I'm sure it contributed to this, but they just shouldn't sell shoes like this then. So there's that one. The second item I regret buying is actually a sensor light from Kmart. Now, here it is. And it's cheap and it works like really well, too well, because my daughter had it outside her room at nighttime and she said, Mum, it's so sensitive, like it just goes on and off all night. It's keeping me awake. I can see the light shining through. So she said, I've actually taken it down and thrown it under my bed. Obviously we can just remove the batteries, but I'm going to take it back to Kmart and I'm going to leave a review because why invent something that's so sensitive it doesn't really do what it should do? So for the benefit of every other consumer out there, I'm leaving that review. The third purchase I've made that I regret, it hooked me in really well because I guess one of my weak points is health. And I'm very health orientated. And this is the AquaTrue water filter that sits on your countertop. I did a lot of research into this. Preferably, I wanted the reverse osmosis under the counter. About $3,000 last time I looked. So it's a big investment, but our house is getting built. So in the interim, I was like, I can spend $1,000 on this one and I'm sure we'll use it all the time. I love the fact that when the water came through the filter, it was in a glass container, not a plastic one, which would leach plastic into my water. But here's the truth. One, it's just so time consuming to fill up, especially when you've got 4 people in a household drinking from it. 2, it takes a long time to filter that water, understandably. And 3, you don't even use all that water. The last third of the water in the canister that gets filled to be filtered, you actually have to throw out. There wasn't a review or anything in the research that I did that communicated that to me. And if I hadn't known that, I would not have made that purchase. So I'm actually going to leave a review there as well to let people know. Maybe there are some people that they're happy for that sacrifice. They're happy with that product. They understand all cons and all the pros. But for me, I'm just not using it because it's just too difficult to keep up with the refilling and wastage of a third of the water to refill it again type thing. Another purchase I made that I regret is I bought this brush off Amazon. And I read the information that it was a ball bristled brush. Looking at it, reading the stuff, it said it was made out of wood. Well, when I received it, the bristles are definitely plastic and the wood is very cheap pine wood that's actually painted like a red stain tinge to make it look like a hardwood, I suppose. So nevertheless, I wrote to Amazon or using their click system on the website, requested a refund, but of course it was such a rigmarole because you have to repackage the item and then you have to take it to a drop-off point, and then once you've submitted this drop-off point with the number, then you get the refund 3 to 5 days after that. I would much rather have not done it. I would have much rather read reviews that said bristles aren't bought natural fiber bristles, they're actually plastic, because I just wouldn't have bought the product in the first place. I just think it's such a shame because more and more we're going to a centralized systems. So all the big players, Amazon, eBay, we're not getting any small brands anymore, or our small brands are very limited. We're having to deal with a lot of suppliers, Chinese suppliers, and they're either don't know English, which I don't believe is true, or even if they did know English, I'm sure there's translators that you can get or apps that you can use to translate stuff. But 2, they're just blatantly lying. I've bought products as well that I think has been cotton or specified as cotton. When I've received it, I can tell instantly that it's polyester. It's definitely not cotton. It's plastic. I just really choose to not buy from these places. Shein, places like this that have huge amounts of fast fashion, crappy products that deteriorate in 1 or 2 wears, 3 wears maybe at most. And then they all end up in landfill or shipped to some country where we're going to help them by giving them all these used clothing. The clothing has had it. If it is only good for 3 wears, by the time they get it, it's just rubbish. And it's polluting their beaches. They're getting shipping containers of this stuff. Just don't know what to do with it. So we're just getting our trash and shipping it to a different country. Not a good fix. So I boycott those kind of products. There are some things that I've had to buy off there because, like I said, we're all going centralized now. I can't just opt out completely of buying things because we do live in a world where we need things, but I do try and get secondhand and I know what I'm looking for. So often I'm looking for natural fibers and I can tell by the texture, I can tell by the brands, I can tell by the feel of things as to whether they're a natural fiber or as to whether they're just plastic. I wanted to share these with you. Maybe you're in the same boat. Maybe you are really sick and tired of buying products that just don't last. In fact, there was one product I also bought and it was maybe $11 for a handheld egg beater. And it said it was all stainless steel. When I received it, it was stainless steel or some sort of metal bottom, but the top, including the mechanism, like where the cog is, was plastic, just silver painted plastic. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that a mechanism that's going to be churning something tough is going to break. Of course, it broke in the first use, like I would say the first 5 turns of the cog. And I was really disappointed with myself because I thought, honestly, you should have known better. And now I do know better. These experiences help me know better. This is why we have to advocate for quality. This is why, one, we need to boycott companies that are selling these cheap products. 2, we need to stick up for ourselves and our fellow community members and leave reviews, demand refunds so that they improve these crappy products. 3, try and buy things that you see. So even if it is a secondhand item, you can tell if it's quality. It's not like a blind gamble. Oh, is this going to be plastic or is this going to be stainless steel? Which is a lot of the times from Shein, eBay, and Amazon now. Have a look at your refund policies. That's the other thing. I've also bought products from reasonably large brands. I think one was from Kmart once, and when the product got shipped to me, there was 2 stainless steel bowls and something else, I can't remember, but the stainless steel bowls were dented before they even arrived, which is fine. I'm still using them, but I requested a refund, and when I was requesting the refund, it was only then that I realized they only let you or allow you to refund 1 item per order. So if I had ordered like 10 things on that order, which I often do this to keep costs down, as in transport costs, because you have to pay for shipping, plus it obviously uses emissions and is better for the environment if you can just get something altogether, less fossil fuels being burnt. But you could only return 1 item. So, I mean, how silly is that? In fact, I've been looking into mattresses at the moment, and I really want to get a flippable mattress, not just one that you rotate around, one that you can flip over. I just think the longevity in them is so much longer. I know before our house burnt down, my son was sleeping on his father's, so my husband's bed, from when he was 18, and from sleeping in that bed myself, I can tell you there's not a spring out of place. Like, it was still so soft and comfortable 20 years later from when it was manufactured. Nowadays, I bought my daughter a mattress, a double mattress, and maybe it was about $500, so it wasn't cheap, and it wasn't flippable, and she was 8, and she got about 2 years out of it before it just had this massive sag in the middle. I mean, 2 years. So I'm on the hunt for a mattress, and I want something that's natural fibered. So I've been researching Peace Lily mattresses, and I found a lady who was going to sell me one on Marketplace. It was just on her spare bed, and it was like half the price of what a brand new one was. So I thought, fantastic. Seeing as I've got to buy 4 new beds, I'm going to try this one out first. Anyway, the day before I was about to go pick it up, she actually sent me a message and said, I'm so sorry, I can't sell you this mattress. It has mold growing on it that I wasn't aware of. So then I went back and I researched the Peace Lily, and there is a few issues with mold, and they don't necessarily replace it for mold because you need to have the exact bed base, something that allows airflow to their standards. Then they'll look at maybe replacing it, because they're sort of saying if you don't have that airflow, that's what caused the mold. There was other reviews too that somebody put a hair straightener on the bed and it kind of melted this whole natural latex part and kept burning through the mattress. They couldn't put it out, which understandably, I'm sure they say don't put hot things on a mattress. I feel like it might singe, but you wouldn't want it to continue burning in the mattress and not being able to stop it. So that's a concern. I even had the guy ring me actually. They rang me because I was inquiring about if I bought 4 mattresses, would they give me a discount? They said no, they actually keep their prices low, so they never have any sales or need to give discounts because they keep their prices low. Fair enough. He also said it's a free like 30-day trial or something, and if you don't like it, you can just exchange it. Well, same thing. There was a person on there who said if you get a mattress topper, a Peace Lily pillow, Peace Lily mattress, they will only replace 1 item from the order. So if I bought 4 mattresses and I wasn't happy with them, I'm not going to get exchange my 4 mattresses. They'll exchange 1. So this is why you really need to read the fine print. The other thing was, there was other people leaving reviews that were saying you'll get someone to come and pick up the mattress, then it gets donated. Well, they had no one who was taking donations, no secondhand shop or Vinnie's or St. Paul's that were willing to pick up the mattress. So the customer ring around to finally find someone to pick up this mattress, and only then, once that was all approved, could they then get a refund. So it's deterred me from choosing the Peace Lily mattress. That's just the way it is. I mean, it should be you get a refund though. If you're not happy with the product, it has a 20-year warranty. So something that is saying it's got a 20-year life warranty is not really giving me much confidence in the company or in purchasing it from reading reviews. So I'm yet to find that good mattress. And thank you to everyone who has given reviews for the Peace Lily mattress, because it's really helped me find out what the issues are with the company and refunds, exchanges, things like this. It's actually made my decision to not purchase a Peace Lily mattress. So thank you to the fellow consumer. The other thing, when you're giving reviews, don't just give reviews for the bad products. Give praises and good reviews for the great products, the quality products, the products that you've tried and tested and have lasted a long time, because then that helps out your fellow consumer in making their purchase. Next time you're going to research a new purchase, you're going to benefit from somebody taking the time to write a small or big review.